Time to run it all.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now.
Check.
No drip, this
Wet.
tell them run it all. No sleep, no
Rest.
might crash, might
Wreck.
but first die.
Stretch.
Tell them run it all. I wake up,
Flex.
thumb down now.
Check.
No drip, this
Wet.
tell them run it all. No sleep, no
Rest.
might crash, might
Wreck.
but first die.
Stretch.
Tell them run it all. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely.
Welcome back to Wise Men Company, everybody. I'm Juan Sanchez.
I love my fans, don't need no friends. I got my
Brown here.
homies.
Let's talk about the Leupold Carbine Optic, or LCO. I've gotten the opportunity to use this optic quite a bit. Used it in a tactical games, which, as you all know, you're going to get your money's worth out of a tactical games if you're trying to test some product or something, piece of gear of that nature. You're going to put it through the ringer. And happy to say it made it through the games fine. I drug it all over the place, over top of concrete walls, climbed ropes, carried huge sandbags, clanging against all sorts of stuff, and it's been fine. It's been great. Held zero. So durability, it's been great. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of this optic. It is an expensive red dot. MSRP right around 700 bucks. So we're in aimpoint T2 territory, so it better do some of the same things or better that an aimpoint T2 does if we're talking, you know, apples to apples. So let's talk pros and cons. The LCO is going to have a 1 MOA dot on the inside. I like a nice fine dot, makes long distance shots really, really easy. There we go. Got a good hold now. And as you can see, I'm running a magnifier behind it. This is an aimpoint magnifier in the Unity Tactical mount, and the LCO is riding on a Unity Tactical riser. More on this setup later. Waiting for one more piece of the Unity Tactical product line to give you guys a full review on it, but you've seen this on the channel a couple of times. This is the setup I've been running as of lately. Back to the 1 MOA dot on the inside, it's pretty crisp, except for if you have a lot of direct sunlight coming into the front of the glass. You're going to start to see a little halo around the dot. You can still see the dot, but it does get a little distracting, and that's only when you're basically facing into direct light or direct sunlight. You get a little bit of a haze around it. Not a big deal, but some people wouldn't like to see that if you're going to pay $700 for an optic. But any other low light, any other indirect light, it's fine. It's very crisp, and you have 16 settings for brightness. It is not night vision. There's no night vision setting on here, but again, you do have 16 settings of brightness. The dial is very tactile. You can hear the clicks on it. Turns up very nicely, turns down very nicely. I like 16 settings. Another big pro is the field of view. People really appreciate a large window, and this LCO has a great field of view. The glass is very clear on it. No, it doesn't really have any tint, so the field of view is awesome. One downside is that you are going to have a big optic then. So it's bulky, it's large, maybe not as big as an EOTech, but with that larger field of view, you're getting a larger profile. Just comes with the territory. Parallax on the LCO, not the greatest. It's going to be comparable to a Trijicon MRO. There's a lot of different tests and studies out there on the interwebs about parallax, and a lot of those optics are ranked as far as least amount of parallax to a greater amount of parallax. You can never remove 100% of the parallax out of the dot, but dots with less parallax gives you a little bit more flexibility in where your eyes are going to land or your cheek weld is on the gun. So when I had some pretty obscure shooting positions, like on top of a car or underneath something, you could definitely tell the parallax was there. Even though my dot might have been on the target, I wasn't getting great hits. So parallax on the LCO, not the best, but for day-to-day shooters, the majority of shooters out there, it's gonna do just fine.
Hit.
The LCO does use a CR123 battery, and battery life is a little suspect on it. It's a long battery life, rated at 50,000 hours, but that's on expected usage. If your LCO is in a resting position, the dot is going to shut off automatically, and then when you pick it up, it pops on. So depending on what setting you have, how much you use it, Leupold's estimating right around 50,000 hours. I don't know if you're going to get to that for sure. I personally like to rotate batteries out yearly. I haven't changed the battery in this one at all, and I've had it for a few months. But just be advised, the estimated battery life is 50,000 hours, but that is based on expected usage. The Aimpoint T2, just for example, their battery life is around 50,000 hours as well, but that's with the optic left on all the time. Just something to be aware of when you're reading the fine print of battery life with this optic. 50,000 hours is plenty of battery for the majority of us. CR123s aren't hard to come by, and they're relatively inexpensive. Windage and elevation adjustments on the LCO are half MOA, and the adjustments were very tactile and audible. They moved pretty easily, which kind of made me nervous because I was afraid maybe I'd bump them or wiggle them. Something would happen to the dials, and then my zero would be lost. But that wasn't the case. The zero was maintained through the tactical games and all the range time I have done with the LCO, so not a concern. I do like the windage and elevation adjustments, just because they're very tactile. You can feel it and you can hear it when you're making those adjustments for zeroing the rifle. And finally, coming back to durability, again, I ran this in the tactical games. I ran it on 2 different rifle setups. This is on an 11.5-inch ballistic advantage build. I also ran it on a 10.3-inch ballistic advantage build that I used at the tactical games, and reliability has been awesome. Durability has been great. Again, I did not treat this thing nicely. It was banged around, dirty. It ran perfectly. And I would suspect that the durability is going to maintain as months and years go on. Leupold has a great reputation, and this particular optic, I believe, has a 5-year warranty. So if anything does go wrong in that 5-year warranty, Leupold's going to take care of you. And again, the name Leupold is a household name in the firearms industry. You can generally expect good things from them. Guys, that's about it for the LCO. Probably going to move this over to my 300 Blackout. I think it's a good fit on that gun. Going to keep it on the Unity Tactical Riser because, as I've said, I really like those two put together. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I'll be happy to get to them. Go check us out at wisemencompany.com. A lot of great products over there for you guys. We appreciate all the support. Thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing, all that good stuff. My name is Ben Brown. We'll see you on the next video.